Retro lunch break.
Yes.
Retro lunch break with Nick and Rick.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Retro Lunch Break, the podcast. I am joined with my co-host here. Oh, wait, what is that? It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh no, it's my co-host Nick. Yay! And we are joined here with our very special guest. He will make you an offer that you cannot refuse. Eddie. Say hi, Eddie.
Yeah.
Hi.
And I am Rick. Thank you very much, everybody. We are talking
You get
about...
nothing.
No, I get nothing.
Okay.
I got you guys the special treatment, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Now, we are talking about movies through the decades. And we're going to start with the roaring 70s.
I don't think that's a...
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're going to start with the 70s, right?
The
Now, I want this to be...
drug-filled 70s.
yeah, I guess so, yeah. So we're going to start with the very free-form format. I'm just going to list off movies that I was even surprised to hear that are from the 70s that I've actually managed to see. And we're going to see if we know them, any funny stories that might be related to them, and just go from there, okay? So free-form, here we go. We're going to start off with a really great one. Speaking of introductions to Eddie, the 1972 film, The Godfather.
Ugh.
The
Right?
Godfather.
Yeah, The Godfather.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was expecting. That's what I wanted to, is that moment, you know, that such a great film, right?
Yes,
It
it
is.
is.
Now, I have a funny story to this. Eddie, let's go ahead and start off with you. What memories do you have with The Godfather?
Oh man, it's such a great film.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just looking at a young little Al Pacino.
Yeah, Marlon
You know?
Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, Diane Keaton too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of folks in there. It was just a good mob film.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
me.
fantastic.
Yeah, just really good. Just set back in
Yeah.
Italian times.
Yeah.
What was it in
New York?
In New York.
New York,
Yeah.
yes.
Right, and then
Mhm.
just the family and everything
New York,
they
I
were going
think in
through.
the 40s or 50s?
Yeah, I think
can't
so,
remember
too.
the exact decade it was in, but it's one of those movies that I can always sit down and watch myself.
Yeah,
I could just, if it's on TV and I go by it, it's like, oh, it looks like I'm watching Godfather for the next 3.5 hours.
yeah.
That's
That's
just-
true too, because
yeah.
it's such a long film.
Yeah,
It
it
is,
is, but
it
it's a
is.
phenomenal film. The first two are amazing.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that because, like, I personally love the third one. I know we brought up
Really?
the first one. We're supposed to be talking about the
Aw.
first one, but
Yeah,
just to mention the other two, I love the third one. I know that's such an unpopular opinion.
that is weird. It's just
Yeah.
not there. It standalone. It's an okay movie, but in comparison to the two masterpieces that came before it,
Yes, yes.
it is a hot pile of garbage.
No, I
Whoa,
wouldn't say
I wouldn't
so.
say that.
No.
Compared to the other two, if you're looking at these two other films that were just so good,
They're still great. I still love the third one. If when we get to it, I will talk about my love for that one. But I will say that I actually have a funny story with The Godfather because at a previous place I used to work at, I had a very good friend there, and when he found out that I hadn't seen The Godfather, any of them, also Casino, and I believe Goodfellas, Goodfellas as well, he was so astonished. Yes, thank you,
Wait,
Eddie.
wow.
Eddie's got
so
a
wait,
surprise.
hold
based
on.
it.
You've just recently seen The Godfather?
No, not recently. This
Okay.
was a long time
A while
ago.
ago.
Okay, okay. I
A long
thought
time ago, a position I had a long time ago with a friend. Who if you ever do catch this, I hope you're doing well. When he found out that I had never seen these films, he made me watch them.
I would have done the
Oh,
same thing.
nice.
Yeah, he had all of them on DVD.
I would have Clockwork Oranged you and pried your eyes open and made you watch them and put the drops in your eyes.
It kind of
Oh, wow.
was like that. I had the whole stack of everything. I had the trilogy of The Godfather. I had Goodfellas and Casino, and he gave them to me on one day. I took them home. I said to my wife, "We gotta watch these." And so I'm pretty sure we started with the other two as well, and then we went to The Godfather, and yeah, he made me watch them, and I love them all. I love them all. We can talk about those other ones when we get to it. Okay, so let's move
I
on.
have a funny story about The Godfather, too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There was a horse head in my bed, too. No, I'm joking.
Whoa,
Yeah, no.
Jesus.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that scene in The Simpsons before I saw.
With the stuffed animal or something?
No, it was when Lisa got a horse.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, it
You're
fell
right,
asleep.
you're right.
It fell asleep in the bed, and she took
Yes.
it off, and she thought there was a horse head, but the whole
And-
horse was attached.
Yeah, and she screams at the top of her
Oh,
lungs.
because he
yeah.
gets her a horse and
Yeah.
puts it in the
Puts
bed.
it in the
That's
bed.
right,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember
To
that.
surprise her, but it's The Godfather.
Yeah,
scene,
which
Yeah.
of course is an iconic. Is so many iconic scenes and so many iconic.
And Marlon
lines.
Brando's performance in The
Amazing.
Godfather
Yes.
is phenomenal. Just everything about his character that is so well done.
And even to this day, it's still mimicked
Yeah.
and impersonated by so many people that loved his performance in it. Yeah.
I think it's his second best performance of all time.
First being
Streetcar Named Desire.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Streetcar Named Desire. Yeah, that's an older film.
Yeah, I never
I
seen it.
wonder-
It's a Tennessee Williams play
Yeah,
into
yeah.
movie. Yeah, and Marlon Brando's in it. It's by far my favorite role he's been in.
I'm familiar with it. I've never seen the movie though.
We should watch it.
I wonder if that was in the 70s. I wonder if we'll get to that.
No, he was much younger. That was probably in the 50s.
Also,
it's black and white.
okay. To mention too, I should have started off with this. That I'm using a list from IMDb. Thank you very much, IMDb, for having.
Thanks.
Well, they have a very functional way to get a list of movies, and I was able to get everything that was done in the 70s very easily, and it's already working out great.
Oh,
So
wow,
when do we
okay.
get to Debbie Does Dallas and Deep Throat?
I have it. I do have it listed.
Deep Throat.
I do have it listed by popularity.
Yeah.
So to make sure that we hit the good ones first, and so we'll see where we go. But the list already, just to blow you guys' mind, 5,000 movies.
Wow.
In the 70s.
5,000 movies.
5,000
So
movies.
strap in, get some snacks. We'll be here for a while.
Yeah, let's see how far we can go. Okay, so moving on to our next one. This one's a great one. I know I've seen it. Taxi Driver.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow,
everybody
okay.
here has seen
Yeah,
that one?
yeah.
I've
Yes.
seen it. Mhm.
I saw that one not too long ago. I knew of it. I knew it was a very popular movie. It blew me away by how much other stuff was in it. Because I didn't understand what was the exact plot. I knew it was a really big breakout role for Robert De Niro, and it's a weird movie.
It
I was gonna
is.
say,
It
it's
is.
a really
it is a
weird,
strange movie
Yeah.
about his mental
Yeah,
ability.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
a really weird movie. It's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie, but it is a really weird movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the same. Like I've heard about it and never saw it until a friend of mine was like, "Dude, you just gotta watch it." It's
Oh, yeah?
really good."
Oh,
So I
nice.
ended up buying it and I watched it.
I saw
Wow.
it when I was
Oh,
a
wow.
teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when I was a teenager. I used to rent a lot of movies from the movie store, and I like classics, so I ended up renting that. My mother was a movie buff, so if I would have gotten much older without watching that, I probably would have been thrown out of the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. I'm pretty sure. I can safely say I saw that movie in the last 10 years. Within the
Yeah,
last
so
I
10
haven't
years,
seen
saw
it since
fully.
I was a teenager.
Oh wow.
I haven't rewatched it.
Would
good
you
movie.
rewatch
Oh
it?
yeah, of course I would. It just there's so many movies,
Mhm, mhm.
so little time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Godfather, yeah, I'll rewatch on TV. Maybe I should go out and find Taxi Driver one of those times, and then put Godfather. But it's the Godfather.
I think I watched Taxi Driver over Godfather, but then that's just the comparison with these two. And we
Yeah.
have so many more
Yeah.
movies. To go
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Okay, so Taxi Driver. Thumbs up, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thumbs
that
up.
was a
Yeah.
good one.
Okay, so here's one. I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, but everybody knows of it. Jaws.
What?
What?
Jaws.
What?
1975.
How are you going to get a bigger boat if
Jaws.
you've never seen
Yeah.
Jaws?
I don't know. I know it's too scary for me.
Oh, it's not.
Scary?
It's not. I know it's
Oh.
I know it's classified as a horror film,
Yeah.
and the series becomes a horror series, but it is more. It's more terrifying because the idea of sharks are real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I believe sharks and unicorns are real. I know that's not a popular opinion, but sharks and unicorns do exist, people.
Okay. We're really quick then. Eddie, Nick, you've both seen.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jaws.
I've seen
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Okay. No, I just no.
I like Jaws a lot. I like Jaws so much that as a kid, when I got to pick a game for either my I think it was for my birthday, I went to Toys R Us and I picked Jaws by LJN as a game because I like the Jaws series.
Oh, interesting.
What a bad choice.
Oh,
But
yeah. The game wise.
the game wise is terrible, but I like Jaws so much. I saw there was a Jaws game, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. Flipped up the little card, looked at the back. I was like, look, there's Jaws in a boat. And I took the little ticket to the front, picked up Jaws, went home, and was
Yeah. Yeah, very much so, right?
But I put so many hours into that game, so it doesn't matter.
Eddie, any comments?
I just watched it as an adult because
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember going to Universal Studios and seeing
The back lot, yeah.
the
Mhm.
shark.
Ooh, I have a good story.
So
about
I
that.
had to watch it. I had to know what it was about. So I ended up watching it as an adult, a couple of years ago.
Nice.
So-
But what do you do during like Shark Week? All they do is
Oh,
show shark
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
You get a chance to watch it
Well, he
there.
loves Sharknado.
That's different. I love Sharknado for different reasons, but that's different. Shark
They
Week
replay
is different
that
because
movie
they
during
do.
the week.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
do.
On some channels,
yeah.
they would play Jaws during
They
Shark
do.
Week.
They
Wow.
play Jaws 1, Jaws 2,
3,
3.
74.
No, see,
The
'cause-
one from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
Son of a
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Those on Shark Week, I feel like those are more educational, so they're okay.
Oh,
but,
you
like,
watch the Animal Planet Shark Week one.
Yes, yeah. yeah.
I do have a good story about Jaws, though.
Okay, go for it.
When I was probably like maybe 11 or 12, my mother was working on they were filming a show. She was in in the TV industry, and they were filming a show in Universal Studios. And so during the summer, I was off school. I would go with her to work, and so I got to spend a lot of time on the back lot of Universal Studios. And before the back lot burned down, they used to have this one area, because I had a golf cart, and one of the assistants, like the interns that they would have, would kind of be my babysitter for the day. So we would drive around and we'd do things like go into the Psycho house, and I've been inside I've been inside that. It's empty. There's a stairwell that leads to a platform where they have the motion rocking lady back, the mother, or Norman Bates. Spoiler alert.
You're breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, sorry. Yes, but there's this really cool part. There used to be this really cool part where you could go, and there was these, I want to say, like 20-foot tall fences that had tarps on them, but they were open, and you could go in them, and inside of there were these large wooden racks, and on each of the racks was a different Jaws from the movies, the actual foam rubber Jaws from there, and I got to go in there and see those, and I love Jaws. I remember,
So lucky.
And so that burned down. That burned down when the lot burned down, but I had been back there, so yeah, Jaws is a great movie, and just I love that. That's like my favorite part of the tram is when you go there and Jaws pops out of the water.
To add to that, what's the shark's name? The robotic shark's name? Nick?
I don't know.
The
Eddie?
robotic shark?
Yeah, they mentioned the name of the shark in the tour.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember. I've been on that tour too many times, but I cannot remember.
Bruce.
Really?
Bruce?
Yeah, the name of the shark is Bruce.
Okay.
The robotic shark is Bruce. Yeah,
That's cool.
Not in the movie, but the robotic shark.
Oh, okay.
And also the just to mention, unless Eddie, do you have anything to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
For me, the box cover for Jaws, I can't get past that. That's no, thank you. Okay, all right. So we're going to move on to another one. Let's mention this one. I know this is a really popular one. I want to see if you guys know this. Is Apocalypse Now? Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
You have seen that.
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah, it's an intense war movie.
That's why I stay away from it.
It's very violent, and it's There's a lot of war movies from the 70s that are really well done. That are just very, and even the 60s too. They had some war movies that were really well done. That are just, they feel, I guess for the time when I was younger watching these, they felt so real, and that was like a representation of me of what actual combat must have been like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised I haven't seen it. I'm interested. I want to see it. I just haven't had time to watch it.
We got to make a list of
movies you should watch. Yeah, that's on there.
If I could muster enough bravery, I should watch it too. With the stars being Martin Sheen, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, and Frederick Forrest. I recognize half of those. I know I know the other two. But that one's like, I know that I gotta
see that. Go you should see. Yeah, that's one of those classics.
Let's watch it together.
Yeah, we should.
Can I sit behind you guys and just like slowly popcorn while you two fall in love?
So moving on to the next one. All right, so there's another one. I don't want to see this one. I already know way too much of it, and there's a sequel of it that I do like. I think that's a very unpopular choice. Such a great build-up for this is Alien.
I love the first Alien.
See the reaction between you guys and me.
Yeah, so the difference is most people like the Alien franchise as a whole. I like the original Alien because it was a horror movie. I love horror movies, and Alien was still a horror movie. After that, Aliens, which is Alien 2, Aliens, becomes more of a sci-fi, and the series has gone sci-fi, and in my opinion, I don't like what's come out recently, but the first one for me is where it's at, because it's a true horror suspense film, and it's just really well done.
So I stuck with the whole franchise idea. I like keeping up with all the Alien movies that are still coming out, and I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, I know we're only talking about the 70s, but what did you think about the last two? Prometheus and what was the last one called? Alien.
There was another one after Prometheus?
Yeah, it was a sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I watched both of them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I just enjoyed them.
I didn't like Prometheus very much. The other one was okay.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned Prometheus. I actually completely forgot about that, because the last one in the series for me is Resurrection.
Yeah.
Which I like, because I like the whole creepy half human, half alien thing that they did in there. Yeah, it's really but no, in terms of the first movie, no, thank you. I would rather, I'd rather.
It was just the idea of that monster in the ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh god, that's
why
so horrifying.
That's why it was totally a horror movie, and not a sci-fi thriller as they became.
Okay, so moving on to another one. So going from a sci-fi horror to a family fantasy musical, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Good lord, thank you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my god, I've seen that thousands and thousands of times.
I love that movie.
Gene Wilder
Gene
is phenomenal in that movie. Such a good movie.
Yes, fantastic. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a childhood happy
Mhm.
memory movie. Like
Yeah,
that
no, I
They
did
would
is
see
play it
that
on
as a
TV
kid,
all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snozzberry. Who's ever heard of a Snozzberry?
Which is funny too, because I didn't know that the Veruca
Veruca Salt.
Veruca
The
Salt.
band was named after,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
character. Yeah.
I never got that.
Oh, you never got that? Yeah.
No.
That's why in the 90s I did like Veruca Salt songs because
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
It's funny because sometimes I use that line on my kid when she does something bad. It's like, you get nothing,
Yeah.
nothing, young lady.
Nothing. Yes.
when
It's like
you
at the
drank
end, towards
fizzy
the end.
fizzy. Oh my God! You drank fizzy lifting soda.
Yeah, it's at the end.
You
it's
broke
like,
the
yeah.
rules of the contract. You get nothing.
it's Gene Wilder's
Yeah,
line, right?
yeah.
Gene Wilder's in his weird office where everything's
Yeah.
half,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
clock is half, and he's yelling at Charlie Bucket, and then Grandpa Joe comes in. He's like, "Come on, Charlie, you don't need this anyway." He's like,
Yeah.
"Here you
Yeah,
go,
remember
Mr.
that?
And he puts
Wonka."
the little,
And he's like,
yeah.
a small token. I can't remember the exact line. A small token of gratitude or something, because he gives back the everlasting gobstopper. He's
Yeah.
like, "Charlie, my boy, wait! You did it! You've won!" Now we're just reenacting Willy Wonka for
Yeah.
the rest of the yes.
Fantastic.
I love Pure Imagination as a song, and just that whole build up to that when they go into the chocolate factory, the candy room for the first time. And just when he's walking down the stairs and smacking his cane so they don't go ahead because all the kids are so like, "I want to get candy, I want to
Yeah.
get candy."
What did it for me is when he's walking down the red carpet
Yeah.
and the cane stops.
Oh, and he does the
and
roll.
It's stuck and
Yeah.
he does the roll.
It's
After
great.
he did that, when I was a kid and I saw
Yeah.
that, I was like, oh my God, I love
Yeah.
this movie already.
Yeah.
I just love the direction where
It's
going.
weird though. I just do want to mention that we've been talking about the movie and idolizing this movie. We're only talking about the second half of the movie. Don't forget that
Oh,
it
yeah,
takes
yeah.
the first half of the
Perfect,
movie
yeah.
for him.
Very,
You have to
yeah.
get through Cheer Up Charlie, and you have to get through the fake golden ticket and all of that. That's only the second half of the movie, what people
is
remember,
true,
because it's
yeah.
so iconic, but just such a good movie the whole way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys think that did you ever see the Family Guy episode that mimics it?
Oh,
I
the
haven't.
Pawtucket Brewery one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I
I've
missed that.
seen that once. Vaguely remember what happens in that one. I know they
It's-
get really drunk.
It's practically the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But I want to say just really quick, my favorite song from the Willy Wonka factory, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, is Veruca Salt's
I Want It Now.
"I Want It Now."
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song.
Don't care how I want it now.
And then she falls. Yeah, the golden gooses.
Yeah, the golden goose. She was a bad egg.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that bit. I
Yeah.
love that bit.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
then he jumps down. He's like, "Veruca, my darling, I'm coming for you," and he
Yeah.
jumps down after her.
And he doesn't care. Willy Wonka is just like, all right.
No,
I
Because
can make
yeah,
it.
yeah.
because he's teaching the kids a lesson. He even explains at the end, "Oh, you'll all turn out." I do love the Violet. You're turning violet.
Violet, yeah.
scene.
Oh, that tripped me out. when
Yeah,
I was a
because
kid,
of the gum.
He
It's
gets
like,
so big.
so big,
and,
yeah.
and
Took
then
you
just
to
start
the
rolling
juice
her.
pressing machine.
Yeah.
And the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Oompa Loompas never bothered me.
No, I like them. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
their songs. They was just that movie had so many lessons in it too. It's like, if you're a jerk kid, this is what's going to happen to you. And then they sing a song about why, and then they blame the parents for it,
Oh.
or they blame television, or
Yeah.
I don't think I can think of. I don't think I've ever chewed a piece of gum without thinking about how she would always stick it behind her ear.
oh yeah, that was
and
so
save
weird.
it,
Yeah,
and she was
Yeah.
chewing that piece for
Yeah,
like
for
8
world
years.
record. 8 months, I think it was.
No, I think it was.
Was 8 years?
I think it was.
But
it
she had the world
Wow.
record with
Yeah.
this piece of gum here.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Mike TV.
Oh yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, when his
Yeah.
teeth got he ate the candy for your enemies, and it blew up in his mouth, and his teeth were all slightly black for a
Yeah,
minute. Yeah.
Great movie. All right, so let's move on to from a family fantasy musical. Let's move on to a crime drama sci-fi, A Clockwork Orange.
Oh my god.
Oh man, That movie.
Kubrick's best film, hands down, in my opinion.
So-
My favorite Stanley Kubrick.
Nick, Eddie, you've seen it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have not. I stay away from this.
It is
Because
such a good movie.
I can't do these kind of psychedelic kind of like.
It is a mind.
Very
Yeah.
violent.
Yeah.
It's very violent.
Violence.
Ultra violence.
Ultra violence.
I can't do that.
It's-
a little bit of the ultra violence.
Yes, a little bit of the ultra violence.
Eddie,
I can never hear the song "Singing in the Rain" without thinking of that movie and being creeped out by that. Like that song now is linked to that movie and just some of the scenes in that movie mentally for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
any comments, Eddie? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just it's a very violent movie. At least from the beginning, right? From the very
Well,
get-go.
I mean everything Yeah, the whole
But like, I
movie.
guess towards the second half is when he's, you know,
Well, he's
going
trying to
through
be
that.
rehabilitated,
Yeah.
but he still has to go through the violence, like when his
When you let
friend
me go.
when his friend
Oh my
becomes the
God.
cop and
Yeah,
beats the crap out of
yeah.
him, and him just trying to readjust to society after coming out of like being broken down and rebuilt mentally. Oh, what a good movie!
Have-
Such a good movie.
How do you guys feel about it? Like, why do you think it's such a good movie?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the acting, the writing, the directing. It's
Is it-
just there's nothing in that movie that when I watch it and rewatch it again, that I'm like, oh man, this is wrong with this movie, or I don't like this scene. I don't feel it fits. It flows so well.
Yeah, it did flow, and then I don't think it was it rated R when it first came out?
I think it was rated X.
Right?
It was. I
So
think
it was
might
like
have been
it was like
rated
one
X.
of those movies where you're just like, oh crap, this
Yeah.
is, you know,
Yeah.
definitely not. This is not an R-rated film
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So just knowing that, you know, and experience a movie that is that kind of rating is also a unique experience. I think.
That's a very good question because
Yeah.
I think the rating system might have been different then.
It was, yeah. It
Yeah.
was, yeah. It was different then. But
Yeah.
I believe that movie was X. I want to say it was. I could be wrong.
Because I'm seeing it
Leave a
here.
comment.
What does it say?
It's R, but I'm
But
pretty sure that's
yeah.
that's today's
Yeah,
standards.
when it was.
Yeah.
If anyone out there knows who's listening to this, when it was released, what it was rated in the theaters, just leave us a comment because I would like to know
Yeah,
myself too.
but I definitely don't consider that a rated R movie, in my opinion.
Okay, so you've recommended movies for me to watch already, like for instance Apocalypse Now and then Aliens, but now we're at this one. I
So-
would say I know less about this one than any of the other ones. I know enough not to watch it. Now, would you say
if you could get through Apocalypse Now mentally, I think
Uh-huh.
you'll be fine with this movie.
okay?
This one's more of a modern society, the '70s society as just being played out.
Just to for explanation for our audience, you Nick, you
Yeah.
Eddie, you've known me for a good while.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the border on this one. It's
Eddie,
like
what do you think? In an honest opinion,
I think you can take it.
you think
I think you can handle it.
I
It's
would-
good. I
yeah.
think he's gonna be like grinning.
Yeah.
You know, knowing you might be like, oh, but I think you can pow through it and be able to
I would like you to see it
appreciate
because
the film.
because I think it's such a good film and it would be nice to have that like, hey, yeah, Clockwork Orange, cool, you've seen it, we can talk about it, stuff like that. Like
I
just
see.
on that level,
Yeah.
I would like that. But yeah, I mean,
it has Malcolm McDowell in it. I'm a huge fan of Malcolm McDowell. I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe it might have been his earliest work I've ever seen, but I know this has got to be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, just the last little question for Clockwork Orange before we move on is I know that they make a reference to Clockwork Orange, a character in Clockwork Orange in The Simpsons, in one of the Treehouse of Horrors.
yeah, he's dressed up.
Bart is dressed up
Mhm.
as one of the characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the iconic
with the
eye.
with the eye makeup from when they were in
Yeah.
their gang. That was the style of their gang, much
Ah.
in lieu of like Warriors. I hope that was '70s, and I hope we talk about that. But that's another movie. Yeah, so
No.
he's playing the main character. He's dressed up as the main character, or
No.
one of the people in the gang. But I'm pretty sure he's
Mhm.
dressed up as. Oh, I can't remember his name. Who he plays in the movie? What the name of his character was?
Was it Alex?
It was Alex. You're right. Yeah,
It's
he's dressed
Alex.
up as Alex. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie.
Would you say that there's some sort of commentary within putting that Bart as dressed up in that character in such an early version of Simpsons? Because they made cultural references
Yeah.
constantly.
That was a cultural
that.
reference. That's a
Yeah.
huge cultural movie. Yeah, it's a cult classic. It really is. It's one of those movies that. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I mean if you want to talk about just the significance of A Clockwork Orange, you could look at it in how the movie poster. It looks like that, almost like that A or
Yeah.
that triangle with him
Mhm.
coming out of it,
Mhm.
has been used by other artists in music. A lot of punk rock bands have used that for their album work,
Really?
artwork. Yeah,
Hmm.
and there's just a lot. It's just reused a lot because it's such an iconic symbolism, and the movie is such a cult classic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let's move on to one that we've talked about extensively in a previous podcast. This is 1977's Star Wars.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm going to leave it at Star Wars because I'm pretty sure when it was
Yay.
first released, it was just called Star Wars. Right?
I think it was,
I
yeah.
think,
And then
yeah.
the New Hope was tagged
Here.
on.
Yeah.
Here, it's labeled as Star Wars Episode 4.
It was always
A New
episode.
Hope.
Oh well, okay. So when they put it up on the marquee, it was just called Star Wars.
Star Wars.
When the movie starts, it says Episode 4: A New Hope.
Oh, when they do the little
When they do the scrolling
backstory.
marquee,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
Okay.
it's always been Episode 4: A New Hope, but I don't think became known as Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope until other movies were released. Because remember, this was not originally a trilogy in the movie studio's eyes. This was a one-shot movie that was going to fail, and we talked about that in the other podcast. George Lucas said, "Oh, it's going to fail. Well, then I won't take pay for this, but let me have merchandising rights." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Good luck with that." Boy, were they wrong.
Yeah. Nick, we've gotten your
You
view on
you
it.
know I love Star Wars. I'm
We
not
go
going
through
to
it
talk about Star
extensively
Wars.
into the other one. We've gotten my 2 cents where I'm not a fan. I've seen it though. Eddie, how do you feel about Star Wars?
I love Star Wars, man. I love that universe. I've seen every single movie
Mm-hmm.
except for Solo.
You have to see
That's
Solo.
the only one I haven't seen.
You have to see Solo. It was good for it be like where it falls in, you knowing the characters and the guy who played young Harrison Ford did a really good job at it. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he doesn't look like he played." He did a really good job. We didn't talk too much about Solo in the podcast, but
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
You need to see
Yeah.
Solo.
It'd be interesting if we can get to that point in the decades of movies. By then you've seen it.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see.
But I guess if you wanted to know, my least favorite was actually, I think, the Phantom Menace.
Everyone hates the Phantom Menace.
That's
Well,
my
Actually,
favorite.
we'll just say 1, 2, and 3 are garbage.
Well,
I didn't mind 2 and 3.
Okay, that's different. Let's get back to the 70s.
Definitely get those. Yeah.
Let's get back to the
The
70s.
70s.
Leave the late 90s, early 2000s alone.
But Star Wars, and the first one. Any fond memories? Kind of fond. I mean,
Yeah,
funny
the
stories.
way that I actually saw them for the first time, I was a kid, and my stepdad at the time had the all 3 films together.
on
He had
VHS.
the trilogy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if he was away when I started watching it, but I watched them with my brother.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I think together.
Yeah.
And saw all 3 movies. And
You mean like back to back?
yeah, back to back,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
You just had to.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, as a kid, being alone
Oh,
at
I
home,
can't.
being home alone
Okay, no,
during
yeah.
those times. Well, what else can I do?
No,
Just
that-
watch
that-
movies all day.
Yes, I have experienced that where
Yeah.
I'll play something, I'll watch it, and I'll wind up rewinding it, just watching it again.
Well, I mean, isn't that but just not
VHS.
only that, but just watching 3 movies in a row. Isn't that the society we live in now with the idea of binge watching with
watching,
Netflix?
yeah.
It comes from our generation doing stuff like that. And that became an idea where it's just like you sit down and you watch everything straight.
yeah,
Just
Yeah.
go through it. Like, your day's gone. I'm just going to rewatch Game of Thrones again.
but I don't know if I could do that with Star Wars.
Because you don't like Star Wars and you're a
I'm
weirdo.
not
I
a
can still
fan.
do it.
Not
Yeah,
a
I
fan.
could. Oh, yeah.
Just,
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, let's do it right now. Stopping the podcast, turning on the TV. We're just going to watch Star
We'll be right
Wars.
back, everybody. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on to another one here. This is one that I haven't seen, but I know it's a huge it's a cult classic. I would say it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which this is with Jack Nicholson, Louise Fletcher, Will Sampson, and Michael Berryman. This is. Have you guys seen it?
I saw it when I was really young. Like, I'm talking before the age of 10, I saw this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, my mother had rented it, and I sat in the room and watched it. So I don't remember much about it. There's a couple scenes that kind of stick out to me that I kind of remember, but I don't really remember much about the movie, and I've never gone back and rewatched it, to be honest.
I've never seen it. I know bits and pieces of it. I know there's I think practically a whole Simpsons episode that's dedicated to.
Oh, there is?
Yeah,
Oh, there is?
yeah.
Okay.
Where I think it's the episode where Homer wears the pink shirt and he meets the Michael Jackson character in there, and I think that's where they start doing references to this. But,
Okay, I don't think I've seen it either. I think I've seen pieces of it,
yeah,
but I've
same.
never sat down and watched the whole thing from beginning.
That's one that I do want to see eventually.
Yeah, I do want to go back and rewatch it because I have no memories really of it. What the plot of the movie was, why it was going on.
Exactly.
But an interesting story from you, Nick, that you've seen it at such a young
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to our next one. Now, this one's a big one. I know I'm going to get a shock expression from you guys. Rocky. I have not seen it.
You haven't seen
What?
I
Rocky?
haven't seen it. I haven't seen Rocky.
You are no longer allowed to be part of my life. You've never seen Rocky.
I've never seen it. I was
Oh, wow,
okay.
okay.
Privy
That
to
won Best Picture in 1977?
it was 76. It was
76.
released.
Yeah,
So-
so won Best Picture in 76.
I can only see what was on TV.
Rocky was on TV.
No, not
Yes,
when
it was.
It was never aired.
Yes,
when
it was.
not in the
Well, not
channels
when
I
you
got
were
to.
watching.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
you
sorry,
were
but
watching.
I never got to
Stop
see
watching KDOC and watch something.
No, I love my public access
Southern
channels.
California reference.
So then both of you, Eddie, you've seen it.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen it. There's other movies like for me, any of the Rockies, even 5. even 5, I will stop like there's handfuls of movies that like Godfather's one of them.
Mhm.
Rocky series, definitely one of them.
Wow, series.
I love the Rocky movies. 1 and 2 are just great movies.
Well, the
3
first
and
one in
4,
particular.
3, yeah. Well, I'll get back to the first one, how great the first one is. But 3 and 4 are good movies if you're a Rocky fan, and 5 is a movie. Um, and then the other stuff that came recently, it's been enjoyable for a Rocky fan. But the first one, oh my gosh, that's such a good movie of an underdog
Such
who
a
was
classic,
never
yeah.
supposed to be there, and it's just such a good. I am big into sports, also as well as video games and music and movies.
Eddie, you agree? You're big into sports as well? Or?
No, not
No?
as,
Yeah,
not as
no.
big as
so I'm
Nick,
the
yeah.
I'm the sports guy. I'm that kind of nerd who's also into sports for stats and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So seeing a movie like this about boxing, and when I'm a little older than both of you, maybe
Way older.
not
Much,
that much,
much older.
maybe intellectually yes, but actual physical age,
Wow.
I'm not much older than you, but I think there's enough because when I was growing up, boxing was the event. When there was a
Oh.
boxing pay-per-view on, one person ordered it and everyone came together to watch.
Oh.
So for me as a kid, I loved watching boxing too, along with other sports, baseball, hockey. I used to watch football, basketball. Don't watch those so much anymore, but boxing was a huge thing. I still watch boxing to this day. I still really enjoy boxing. So movies about boxing and well told with characters that were so like you just attached yourself to them because you felt for them, and then you disliked them for who they were, but you understood why they were that way because of like Apollo Creed. Why he is the way he is because he's the champ. He's the one everyone's whispering in the ear. You're the greatest. You're the champ. No one can beat you. You're the best. And so he doesn't have to take things seriously because he's just doing some publicity stunt fight. And then you feel for Rocky, this guy who's never had his shot, who's down on his luck, who's like at his end working for the mob, and now he finally has his chance to live his dream.
Working for the mob?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He was like a muscle for the mob
Really?
in the first movie. Yeah,
Wow.
that's where his first job was in the movie. And then just his whole thing with him meeting his wife in the first movie and how awkward it is. Just it's great. And then Rocky 2, I don't know if that was in the 70s also. Was that?
I'm not sure. Like I said,
Yeah.
this is by I'm doing the list by popularity.
Yeah.
Popularity.
See, but
Yeah.
Rocky 2 has my favorite line when they're trying to get him as a sponsor. And he's like, oh, I got somewhere to be. I'll call you. And then the sponsors are like, but you don't have our number. He's like, no. I'll just be like, hey, yo. And then he walks away from them. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's a beautiful scene. And they're walking. It's snowing. He just got out of the hospital from the first one. And basically he's trying to take Adrian to the zoo to propose to her. And they're bothering him with trying to sign him up for like TV deals and stuff, and he doesn't want to be bothered with it, so he just gives him some like, "Hey yo!" It's just great.
Nice.
I love Rocky films. Sorry,
Come on, Sylvester Stallone.
I know.
I think
He
that's where he
wrote-
started, right?
I don't know if
Is
that's
that-
where
is
he
that where
started,
like,
but
started getting big.
No, I think so.
Was it
because
with Rocky?
if I'm
I
not
feel like it was
mistaken-
he
with
wrote
Rocky.
and
Yeah.
he wrote Rocky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the stories that his development for Rocky was a tough break, and
Yeah.
like even then I think the story goes is that he sold his dog to make money to have money
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that.
to produce this film. Like he was, I think wasn't in the best condition. It was Sylvester Stallone's very very tough, hardworking individual to get this movie going, and then it came out and it became a huge hit. So it was just like his breakout role.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then moving on to another one here. So here we have 1974. We have Godfather 2.
Yeah,
Godfather 2 came out.
we've covered Godfather.
Yeah,
Godfather
yeah,
1
yeah.
and 2, phenomenal
1 and 2.
movies.
I'm
Yeah.
still saying 3 is the best.
Oh, you're
Okay.
wrong.
All right, so now
He's
we're
like,
gonna.
I knew it was you, Fredo.
So moving on to another. Okay, this is a great one. I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
I am, if you can tell, I'm very very happy to mention this one.
Yeah.
This is 1978, Grease.
Oh, Grease! I love Grease.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't-
Love this movie.
So real quick before you get into your love for this movie, what I love about this movie is the movie's supposed to take place in the 50s,
Yes.
but the theme song for it is the most 70s song you'll ever hear.
Oh, yeah.
Grease is the word, is
Yeah,
the word.
I heard a story about that where he was offered to do a track for one of the songs.
Yeah.
But he opted to do the intro because he considered the intro to be the most iconic part. Everybody remembers the intro
Yes.
song. Yeah, so that's why I think that was supposed to be a quote from him.
Well, if you've watched Grease, I don't know. Have you seen Grease, Eddie?
I haven't
Have you
seen
seen
it
Okay.
from beginning to
Yeah,
end.
Okay, cool.
Not from beginning to end.
Okay.
I've seen
So
pieces of it.
you
I've
do
seen
I get
pieces
to
of
react
it.
this
You
way.
do need to, you do need to watch Grease from beginning to end. But for me, Greece is hits home a little closer to home, because I went to Venice High School, and Venice High School was Rydell High.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
part of the movie is filmed at Venice High.
Wow, that's
So,
so cool.
as
okay.
being someone who went to Venice High and graduated from Venice High, Greece is very ingrained in your. Everyone who goes there watched it. Everyone knew it back in those days, in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
'90s when I was going to school there, and yeah. So even I had a stage crew, and the stage crew teacher in his room, which was behind the auditorium, still had the Rydell High sign up on the
So
wall
cool.
from the movie because he
Wow.
kept it.
Oh,
Mm,
wow.
Yeah.
nice.
So Greece is a little more like, yeah, I know Greece. I love Greece. My wife loves Greece. I mean, it's just a fun, good movie. So
Yes.
many good songs, and John Travolta is phenomenal in it,
Yes,
and
yes.
Stalker Channing is great as
Oh,
Rizzo.
yes, yes.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah, it's
love it
just
so
such
much. Yeah.
it's such a fun movie about the 1950s
Yeah.
high school life.
Yeah, and it's just everybody breaks onto song and dance.
Yeah,
just out
all
of
the
nowhere.
time, yeah.
I love that.
And Grease Lightning's a really perverted song.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's pushing the bar, but it was supposed to.
Yeah,
it was
it
actually
was supposed to,
And Frankie Avalon and
Yes,
is
in
singing,
Beauty School Dropout.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah.
I love Frankie Avalon and see Eddie. You
Okay, I
got
gotta
you
add
got
that
to
to my
see
list,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
You really
gotta
have to
this.
see Grease.
It's good. It's good fun. It's a family. I think it's a good family film. I recently showed it to my daughter for like the first time. I want to say probably within the last year.
Did she sit down through the whole thing?
And yeah,
Oh, that's
I had
good.
her watch it. I was
Yeah.
singing along to every song
That's
and
nice.
just having fun. And I think at one point I if I can remember correctly, for those of you listening and maybe you guys, I have very terrible recall. But right now I'm just thinking about when I was having her watch this with me. I'm pretty sure I picked her up and we're dancing around.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a nice little
nice.
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's another reason why I love this movie so much. But I am a sucker. I am a total sucker for musicals.
Okay.
And the whole
Okay.
concept of like people just randomly getting up and everybody singing and everybody
Dancing,
dancing
like it's normal, yeah.
like it's absolutely normal.
Yeah.
And this movie just does it perfectly.
Oh, okay.
I can never get myself to watch the second one because
Grease
it's like
2,
Grease 2.
yeah.
It's because it's not the same cast, and I think it's kind of that magic there. Although I love Diddy Kong, and it's just I don't know. But the first one, yeah, is fantastic all the way. So move on to the next one. This is one that I will stay away because it's a horror film. You
Okay,
guys have probably seen it like last week.
Yes.
Last week.
Yeah. No.
No?
No.
No.
Hmm,
The
okay.
Exorcist.
Oh, The Exorcist. Yeah.
Oh, well, don't be so disappointed.
Yeah.
It's The
I-
Exorcist.
I was hoping for later
Oh, okay.
70s horror films, but that's just me.
Well, I know
uh,
you've mentioned this before.
yeah, I've talked
I
about
think,
The Exorcist.
during our during one of our Let's Play channel.
Yeah,
episodes.
probably. I talked about this.
Eddie,
I've seen it a long time ago, and it was just meh to me.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
brought
fuss
this-
was about from
Exactly.
everybody saying like this is so scary, and I was
Yeah.
just like,
I explained this. My
Okay.
mother when she saw that, my mother saw that movie in theaters when it was released. My mother said she didn't sleep that night. She was so terrified by that movie, but my mother was also raised a Catholic, so anything about religion was going to freak her out. But for me, when I saw it, I was just like, I guess I had I talked before, I was so desensitized to violence and stuff, and religious horror doesn't really scare me ever. It's not something that I'm like, oh no, the devil's going to come get me. I'm afraid. It's just one of those devils, aliens don't really scare me. Like the idea isn't creepy as where like, I guess I'll say like ghosts and mass murderers are more so what will get me the back of my neck tingling for when it comes to like horror. Personally.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that stuff does get to me.
Uh,
Like the religion horror
Yeah.
that like I've seen the alien movies. That stuff does creep me out,
Yeah.
but for some reason, I guess maybe you're right. I'm so desensitized from current movies about
Yeah.
just creepy and how scary they are
Yeah.
that when I saw the Exorcism, it wasn't that scary to me.
Yeah, I
It
rented
did have like
yeah.
weird, like creepy scenes, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that scary. Like I've seen Exorcism movies that are scarier than this.
would you say that it maybe it's just a product of its time?
I
that-
think
I
so.
think so, yeah.
At its time, it was probably terrifying because there was
scariest. Yeah.
not a lot out like that. But for me, growing up watching a lot of horror movies from a young age with my older
Yeah.
cousins, to me, it was just kind of like, okay, cool, another horror movie that was just okay for me
Mhm.
personally. It's just not my thing. I did go to the Chinese Grauman Theater in the
Yeah.
early the band's Chinese ramen, whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
The one,
Grauman Theater.
yeah, the Grauman Theater on Hollywood when they did one of the anniversary re-releases in the 2000s. I went to watch it there in the theater because I was
Wow.
like, oh, that would be cool too because I like horror. But it was just one of those. We had a friend go with us and he flipped out and left the movie like 20 minutes in because she was super religious and she
Oh,
couldn't take the
wow.
religious
Oh,
scariness
wow.
of it.
Wow.
She walked out of the movie.
Wow.
And I was like, cool, okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
but
interesting.
I never found it scary, so it's just really weird to me how that happened.
Maybe if I would have seen it as a kid, I might have been freaked out. But I saw it, later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna stay away from this stuff.
Yeah,
It's not that bad. Come on.
It's not my cup of tea. Okay. All right.
I do enjoy this.
So let's try another one. I'm gonna go to another horror film here.
Yes.
So how about Carrie?
Carrie's
Oh, I've
good.
seen Carrie.
Yeah.
You seen
Mhm.
Carrie?
Stephen King book
Uh-huh.
originally. Yeah, that's a good movie.
I think I've seen that like on TV once, but even then I think it was like edited out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I can handle it. I think there's like only one line that I'm aware of it was like no more wire hangers.
No,
Is
that's
that different?
Mommy Dearest.
Oh, okay.
That's a different movie.
That's a different
That's
movie?
a completely different movie, and that movie is jacked up.
Okay.
I think it's called Mommy Dearest or something along those lines,
Uh-huh.
but that's what she has to call her is Mommy Dearest. That's about a kid who's tortured by her. Unless I'm totally splitting that movie off from Carrie.
I could be wrong. I could.
I
Be
thought
wrong.
I thought Carrie was about the girl who goes to prom and they
Yeah.
pour pig's blood on her, and then
Uh-huh.
she
Yes.
flips
Yeah.
out,
Yes,
and
and she
catches on
actually
fire.
has
Um,
psychic powers.
yeah,
Psychic
she
powers,
has.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I can't remember what the name is for having the psychic power to start fire. There's a name for it.
Pyrokinesis.
Yeah. Thank
Just
you.
saying.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Bioshock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
huh,
yeah. Yeah, it's that. No More Wire Hangers. Mommy Dearest comes from a different movie though.
I've
Okay.
never seen that.
I can't remember the name of the movie. Dang,
But again,
I'm killing
this
myself. But
so
yeah,
this might be a product of the time. Would you consider this one to be scary still? I mean,
not,
there's been
not
remakes.
still. The
and-
remakes are.
Eddie, what do you think?
Yeah.
I think I did see the remake, and I was okay with it.
I
But-
never find the movie scary. I just thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't find it scary neither.
Personally,
Really?
Yeah.
outside of watching it on TV as a kid,
Yeah, I
a
remember
lot of
that.
Stephen King movies aren't. They're really well done. They are horror movies, and his books, when you read them, they are horror books, and they can creep you out a little. But they're not overly like. At least for me, what I define as scary. They don't really always hit that nerve. And Carrie didn't hit that nerve, but it was a good movie.
I felt like it was more messed up.
Yeah.
Of just what was happening to
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
girl in the movie.
Mhm.
That's how I felt when I watched it. I didn't really get scared. It's just
Yeah.
man, it's so messed up. Everything's just going through. So
Mhm.
it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be scarier since it's kind of more realistic about how everybody's just being super mean to her?
Well, I don't know.
No.
No.
Okay.
I couldn't tie into it
No,
from that
okay.
angle. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I'm afraid I can't really say much. So okay, moving on to another one. I know you've talked to me about this one. I haven't seen it because of the hype that's built up around it. Everybody that knows me says that I would probably love it. I'm just scared that I might not. The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, you need to see the Rocky Horror Picture
Oh,
Show.
Wow, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the
that one
Rocky
yet?
Horror Picture
No,
Show?
what is that?
It's a
Nick?
musical.
Oh,
it's
a musical?
It's a musical about a transsexual Wait, it's a. Okay.
Should I read?
Yeah, read it because I'm going to say it
Okay.
wrong.
So, I want to make sure I give credit here to IMDb for this the description of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. A newly engaged couple have a breakdown in an isolated area and must pay a call to the bizarre residence of Dr. Frank Infurter. And from there, hilarity ensues.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's transsexual, something transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. It's just his whole line in one of his songs.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of it is a horror musical 100%. It has Meatloaf in it, Susan Sarandon's
Susan
in it.
Sarandon.
Oh,
Yeah,
love,
Susan
I
Sarandon.
love Susan
Yeah,
Sarandon.
she's in it.
And Tim Curry.
And Tim Curry. Tim
Oh,
Curry
Tim
is
Curry?
he
Yeah,
is
Tim Curry.
Dr. Frankenfurter, and he is phenomenal. It's better than his role in Home Alone 2 by far.
No, it's not.
You haven't seen the movie, so you can't say
Oh, okay.
anything. I am calling you
That
out.
is true. That
This
is
is
true.
Okay.
This movie is phenomenal. I like this movie. I like a lot of movies a lot. It's weird because when you first said the 70s, I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to know about the
I
70s
know,
because
I know.
I was
That's
born in the
crazy
how
80s.
much
too.
we know.
But
actually.
I've watched so
Yeah.
many of these movies and love so many of these movies.
Yeah.
But I used to go see this movie on Saturday nights live at a theater.
Wow.
Live as in they play the movie and people who are huge fans of the movie get dressed up and act it out there, and you
What?
throw rice and you throw tortillas and you get up and dance and you do all these things along with it. So during the wedding scene, you throw rice, and then
wow.
at one point you start throwing tortillas back and forth. I can't remember where, but then there's all of these like cues that when you hear the movie, you yell things with the audience. It's an interactive.
Oh,
it's
wow,
become
okay.
an interactive cult movie, and it's just so much fun to go to live.
And I've seen it referenced in so many stuff nowadays. There's the one I can think of right now is Drew Carey Show. I think they have a whole episode dedicated to that, where
I like the Drew Carey
everybody
Show. I don't remember that
everybody
episode.
does. Yeah, everybody dresses up and they do a big number, song and dance number to it.
I do want to say
Okay.
one thing real quick, and I'm sorry for everyone who lives there, but I need to call Drew Carey out because Cleveland does not rock.
I'm just gonna let you
Yeah.
let you say that one. And the most recent one I can think of is that it was featured in the Venture Brothers, where one of the openings, everybody's dressed up as
Nice. There's
yeah,
different characters from
there's different
Rocky Horror.
characters from Rocky Horror
Yeah.
Picture Show.
You have like
and,
Magenta and Columbia.
uh,
Oh, I love that movie. It's such a cool movie.
Uh,
If you like musicals, you would like that because it's so out there and it's phenomenal.
you know, I love Tim Curry. I love Susan. I'm in love with Susan Sarandon.
Then you
And
need to see
it's-
this movie.
See, that's
Yeah.
the thing though, because I've been told
Damn it,
that
Janet.
I would love this
That's-
movie. But I'm just afraid that I won't, and it's just
Really?
like
I think
so
you
long-
should. I think
it's like it's Schrodinger's cat state right now. So long as I don't see it,
Like,
I will.
you don't
I
have to
both
watch.
love it. I
You don't have to
love
watch Clockwork Orange. Please sit down and watch Rocky Horror.
it.
Let's add it to our list of things we're gonna watch together.
We need to watch this.
And I want to watch that one with you because I love watching Rocky Horror.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to another one here. Now, this is a great one. I love this movie so much. I can't. I think the first time I saw it was I was probably too young to watch it because it is rated R, and I think it was probably rated R back then and even now. National Lampoon's Animal House.
Yeah, Animal House.
Animal House.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen
I
Animal
haven't
House?
seen that. No.
Oh man, that is such a great movie.
That's a good Jim Belushi.
Yeah, John Belushi.
John Belushi,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh man, just
Sorry, John Belushi. Jim Belushi's the bad
Jim-
one.
it's just hilarious
Yeah.
from beginning.
Blues Brothers
to
was in
end.
the 70s, or was that the 80s too?
I believe that was 70s.
That was also 70s, yeah.
I do believe that was 70s.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to that
Oh
one.
yeah, because I think he died in the 70s or the early 80s.
I think it was early 80s.
Yeah.
That's it's just a funny movie about
College.
satire. Yeah,
Yeah.
college life.
Frat house.
A frat
college,
house,
yeah.
the worst frat house on campus. And even then, like that's one that I still see references to it
Mhm.
now. Yeah,
Oh, wow,
and just
okay.
and John Belushi's like I like to think that John Belushi's acting in this it
It's
was
just him in real life.
It's just
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just hilarious all the way through every single
Oh,
scene.
I do like to do that with movies sometimes when an actor is so good and so on what I
Yes.
think the actor is in real life that I imagine that's just how they are
That's
all
just
the
how
time.
it is. Yeah. And I think that is the first movie that started the whole credits at the end, where they would give
Yeah.
like a little like this is what happened to this person,
Mhm.
and in there's a reference to I believe her name is Barbara, where she is a tour guide at the amusement park that the family goes to on vacation.
In Vacation.
Yeah.
And this
Where-
was the first National Lampoon movie too.
I do believe so.
This started
yeah.
the whole National Lampoon thing. So
Oh, okay.
National Lampoon Vacation, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and then it goes on, and even things like Van Wilder is a National Lampoon movie.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Mhm. And there's tons.
Yeah, there's
a lot
tons of
more.
them. There's tons of them throughout there that I'm forgetting. There's this one weird, I think it's a National Lampoon movie. It's this British movie about these guys who play like lawn bowling. It's not that good, but it has some funny parts. But yeah.
But okay, Animal House. Animal House is one there, Eddie.
You should watch. It's a
have to
good
watch that
comedy.
one.
It's a
you
great comedy, and it holds up to this day.
Mhm.
There's
Okay,
there's
okay.
nothing bad about it. Okay, so let's move on to one now that you were trying to reference earlier. If I'm not mistaken, because I haven't seen this one either. It's another horror film. Seems to be a lot of horror films out of the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s. Well, say the name first.
Halloween.
Yes, I was actually doing Friday the 13th because I believe that was
Oh.
78, 79.
That
but
little noise, the echoing noise
yeah,
that you made. Are you sure? That's not
that's
Halloween?
Jason. Though I don't remember if they do it in Halloween, but I'm gonna go
okay.
back to Halloween here.
Halloween is what is the bad guy from Halloween?
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Voorhees is from Friday the
From Friday the
13th, and Freddy
Oh.
Krueger is from Nightmare on Elm Street.
See, both of you are.
Yeah.
I know all
are-
three. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've seen
no.
Halloween,
Uh-huh,
right?
I've seen
Yes,
Halloween.
Halloween. Woo!
No.
It's I like okay, real quick, horror movies. I love horror movies, slasher movies, and Halloween was really like one of the earlier big slasher movies. I think it might have even been the start of the big slasher movies to come out.
Well, to add to that, then, okay, so Halloween came out in 1978. How old were you when do you think you were when you saw this, or if you know?
Probably somewhere between 5 and 7 is when I
5
started
and
watching
7.
horror movies.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
No.
because like I said, I have older cousins, and they got to pick what we rented from the video store. So they picked. I've seen so many '80s horror movies that I still love to this day. That aren't good movies by anything, but they have a meaning to me because it's just so fun.
But at that age, though.
Yeah,
at that age.
I mean,
It's
by
crazy,
the time
right?
by the
Yes,
time I was
yeah.
like 8 and stuff, I was watching what do you call it on HBO? Tales from the Crypt. Like I would watch that
Tales from the
weekly. Yeah,
Oh,
so
what? Okay.
with the Crypt Keeper.
I
Yeah.
want to say I started at 6
At 6 years
because
old,
right around the
I
time, yeah.
remember having nightmares about the Muppet. The Puppet Master.
Yeah, you talked to me about
Remember?
Puppet Master.
And
Yeah.
I
You
remember
mentioned
being
that,
6
yeah.
years old,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure that's the age that I started watching scary movies.
But Halloween is cool. I just want to go through a little talk about Halloween here because you're not aware of this. I'm pretty sure you probably are. Halloween, the first Halloween movie has Michael Myers. The second Halloween movie also has Michael Myers. The Halloween series was never about Michael Myers. So the third movie did not have Michael Myers. It's called
Wait.
Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
What?
I haven't seen that one.
Well,
Actually.
Season of the Witch it's terribly good.
Oh.
It's a bad movie, but it's just fun.
Okay.
It has a silver shamrock mask thing, and people hated it so much that Halloween 4's title is Halloween 4, the Return of Michael Myers. To let people know, hey, we're not doing this. These are all about Michael Myers now. And that's when they went back to it. But originally, it was not supposed to be only about Michael Myers as the killer. It was supposed to be
Interesting.
released once a year on Halloween, horror movies, or around Halloween time that tell different stories. So 1 and 2 just happened to be about Michael Myers, and then the
Oh.
third one wasn't, and people hated it.
So it's
So the
just-
fourth one, they were like, yeah, we're going to go back to the old format that worked.
So it was supposed to be just a Halloween
Mhm.
scary.
Yes.
Every once a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Then indulge me for a second
Yeah.
here. What is a Michael Myers? What is
He's
is it
person.
a spirit?
No,
Is
he's
it
No,
a,
it's
he's a,
just a
he's a
person,
human.
It's just a person.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's what's it
Bad
called?
apple, I guess.
Yeah, he's the older brother that was locked away in the mental hospital who breaks out, who's trying to get back to kill his sister.
Whoa!
Mhm.
And he does this in the first, second, and fourth movie.
And fifth
Fifth,
and
yeah.
H2O and even the recent one that came out.
H2O. Isn't that the one where he fights Freddy?
No,
No,
that's
no,
that's
no.
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh, sorry. I'm getting
yeah,
mixed up.
you're getting way ahead in the times,
Yeah.
and you're getting your whole horror messed up. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah. No, the Halloween movies are good slasher movies. They're good
Yeah.
slasher movies. Not my favorite slasher movie series. Mine will be. We'll talk about probably in the '80s more. Is Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, but they're still phenomenal.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You won't ever
So-
watch it.
on
So,
Halloween,
yeah.
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 To circle back to Halloween.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm still not.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
watch
yeah.
It.
I wouldn't expect you to watch horror
Mhm.
films, but they're my jam.
Yeah.
This is my jam.
And to hear that you guys watch it at such an young age, it's just I cannot believe it.
Mind boggling.
It's mind-boggling. Yes, it is.
It's actually mind-boggling, like when your mind gets bottled up. That's what they said to Louis Armstrong when he said he was going to the moon. Now he's up there laughing at us.
Okay.
They're,
All right.
they're Blades of Glory references, by the way.
Ah, all right.
Mind-boggling. It's Will Ferrell making stupid jokes.
Okay, let's get a couple more in here. I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier. This is one I haven't seen. I know they did a reboot of it, and they even did they spawned a video game for it. Is The Warriors?
Oh, the Warriors.
Come out and
No,
You
I've never
haven't-
seen it.
You've never seen
I've
Warriors?
heard, I know of
Okay.
that scene.
Yeah.
Thank you
Uh-huh.
to regular show where they do that, the
Yeah.
bottles and the
The
things. Yeah,
clink, clink.
I know
clink.
of it.
That's
from
actually
there.
just real quick because I don't know if you'll ever watch Warriors. It's a really cool, very 70s movie. If you want to watch a movie that screams 70s, Warriors is that. It's about a gang in New York who goes to this there's this one guy and he's having he's getting all the gangs together
yeah.
and he's supposed to be like, look, we're gonna have an alliance for all the gangs and we're no longer gonna fight because every borough in New York has a different gang, right?
Mhm.
And so they all come together. I think they go to Harlem, right? I think they have to go to Harlem to get to this meeting. And at the meeting,
So, Ed, if you've seen it, yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
it, yes.
so at the meeting, someone kills him, and the people that kill him say it was the Warriors.
The
and
main guy, the one that says, "Can
You
you
dig
dig
it?"
it?" I know that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
I know
that guy.
that.
yeah,
They killed
so
that
they
guy,
kill
yeah.
that
Whoa.
guy, and then and then the people who kill him, I can't remember the name of the gang, the ones who kill him. This little guy who goes, "Warriors, come
Yeah.
out and play."
Wait, okay.
But they frame the Warriors, and the Warriors then have to take the rest of the night trying to get back to what you call it, to Coney Island, because their base is Coney Island.
Okay, is it?
and it's just phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds amazing. Sounds like I could handle this. 'Cause
You
it's not,
could. It's
not
cool.
You
scary
could
for
definitely
It's
some
handle
not
this.
reason.
scary.
Yes, you could
It's
definitely
very
handle this.
70s. There's a lot of gang fighting in it, but it's
Uh-huh.
really cheesy fighting.
But
Yeah.
okay, to kind of okay, so I've seen plenty of movies. Unfortunately, I'm at the state now where I can kind of get the plot before it's delivered in the movie.
Yeah.
Now it sounds to me that what you just explained, that the ones that blame the Warriors are the ones that did the thing that got the guy, right?
Yeah, they let you know that right off the bat.
Oh, right off
That's
the
that's
okay,
not
geez,
hidden.
okay,
Yeah, it's
That's
not
not
hidden.
hidden at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so okay, then it sounds like I already know the plot of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do it. It's just a good movie to watch. It's a fun movie.
Very entertaining. Just
Yeah, it
watching them
is.
trying to get back
Yeah,
to their
yeah,
base.
and just the different gangs and their different styles and stuff like that, and it's just a really cool movie from the 70s. There's no jive turkeys in that movie.
Okay.
Did you just call me a jive turkey? No one called anyone a JT.
Where's that from?
Is
That's from Semi Pro. Another Will Ferrell. I could just throw in weird Will Ferrell movie quotes.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen that.
Semi Pro.
no.
Yeah.
I thought that was from the movie, maybe.
No, it is from the movie Semi Pro with Will
Oh,
Ferrell.
no, but
Yeah.
Oh no, not from the Warriors. No,
not the
no one
Warriors.
does
Yeah,
the
that's how
whole
I'm like, what
the whole
you
jive turkey. That's Tim Meadows and Will Arnett actually have that back and forth
Okay.
about the jive turkey.
Wow.
Did you just call me a jive turkey? That's my Will Arnett because that's as deep as I can get.
All right. So let's see if we can get a couple more in here.
Yeah.
This is an iconic one. I won't say it's my favorite in the series, but this is an iconic one. 1979, Mad Max.
Mad Max. Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Not my
It's like-
favorite either of the
yeah,
series.
yeah, but I mean, it starts it.
Yeah, it
and
starts it.
I have not seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
No, I have
Do you
not.
know what the Mad? Have you
Yeah, I
seen
know
any of
it's-
the Mad
it's,
Max? Have you seen like Thunderdome or the new
no,
one?
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen
I haven't
any of
even
them?
seen the latest one now.
Oh yeah, there's the latest
This
one.
is the latest one,
with
yeah.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I haven't seen that one. Either.
See, I think Mad Max is interesting because it's when you compare it to the other two, Thunderdome and I can't remember.
I can't remember the other one.
third one.
Yeah, the third.
Whereas Mad Max is like the start of it, where I think it is based in Australia.
Yeah, it's based in Australia. It's the
where
downfall
it's
of
the
society.
downfall. Yeah, it starts off there.
The
where it's
second
like
movie is after everything happened,
after, yeah.
and the world is in chaos, and Thunderdome's in the middle of the desert, and that's like the big thing. But the first one is leading up to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Did they
not as-
explain why the society was?
Yeah, they
Kind
do.
of,
They
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
do in the
kind of
movie.
do, yeah.
It's kind of
Okay.
like, have you seen Rambo?
I've seen Rambo.
Have you seen First Blood Part 1 and First Blood Part 2?
I've seen. I think I have.
Okay, so
I've
how
definitely seen the first one.
So,
First-
so how
yeah.
First Blood Part 1 was the setup of the character of John Rambo and
Yeah,
about his
yeah.
struggles in society here.
Yeah,
And the
so
second
it's-
one was retelling his war stories.
Putting him back
So it's
into
kind
the
of like
game.
that, where the first one's just the whole setup for the whole series.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
At the very end of it, you see how he becomes this iconic character of
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he's a cop in the beginning, isn't he?
Oh, I'm not.
I can't remember. I think
Sure.
either he's a cop or he got arrested by the cops. I can't remember.
No, no.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Good.
That's one of those movies I don't rewatch the original Mad Max. It's just
no, because
yeah.
it's so different from the other two. But I mean,
Yeah.
it still has its place because it sets off the whole
Mhm.
tone,
Yeah.
and it's the whole introduction of why he is the way he is, and how everything got to the way it was. But it's for some reason it doesn't seem to stand out as other ones do. Yeah.
Okay. So
And
do
they'll
I need
give-
to add this to my list?
I
you
would
guys
say
think?
watch it. I would want to rewatch it myself just to get kind of like the familiarity
Well,
to it. But then like
mhm.
after you've seen it, it's
I
in
don't know,
comparison to the
because-
other two. It's like I want to watch the other two.
If I
when
say
watch
add it to your list, don't add Mad Max to your list. Add all of the Mad Max films. Because if you just watch that one alone
Yeah,
and then
you're
don't
not
watch
getting it.
Thunderdome
You're
and the
not
other ones,
getting
it. Yeah.
it's not.
It-
You need the other ones to make that one better.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just try to squeeze in a couple more. I want to mention this one because it is a weird movie, and I want to know if you guys seen it. Is Deliverance?
I've seen Deliverance.
I
Deliverance.
have not seen the
Yeah.
That is a weird.
It is a weird movie.
weird movie, and that's where I know it's super iconic. Eddie, maybe you've heard this line before because I knew of it before I actually seen the movie.
Okay.
It's a very iconic line where this guy says, "I want to hear you squeal like a pig."
Oh,
So
that
it's
sounds
about
familiar.
two
That does sound
guys.
familiar, yeah.
They're hiking or camping or
It's
canoeing or three.
Okay, so I saw.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but they get kidnapped by hillbillies.
No, almost,
Yeah.
almost. So okay. So now I'd seen this movie within like the last 10 years. Okay.
Okay.
And when I saw it like I jumped in the middle of it and I started watching it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is Deliverance. So the premise of the movie is about three New Yorkers, if I'm not mistaken. They're businessmen, and they go on a fishing trip, and they hire Burt Reynolds, a very good looking Burt Reynolds, because he has his vest on and there's no shirt. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So they hire Burt Reynolds to be their guide
Okay.
as they go through these backwaters of let's see if I can see here where it's at. It's in the backwaters of a country, right? And in the country,
Yeah.
And they're
Like
going
the
through.
Ozarks or something.
Yeah, and they're going through, and they're just kind of going on a fishing trip, but they wind up getting like lost and off the boonies where anything could happen, and there's no law, no nothing.
Oh my god.
And these hillbillies come across them with guns, kind of jump on them. They forcibly, one of the
Force themselves upon them.
Oh, wow.
one of the
Yeah.
characters, and that's where that line comes from.
Mhm.
And then from there, they fend them off, they fight them, but then they chase them down. One of them gets lost, it gets killed, and they're trying to shoot these other guys, and then they wind up killing another hillbilly kind of character out there, thinking that it was one of the other ones. And throughout this whole thing, it's just they're just trying to get back. They're just trying to get back, yeah. And as soon as they do get back to civilization, they've lost one of their team members, and even then, like they create this really awkward, unspoken word between all of them about what happened. And at the end of it, it's just like
It's just unsettling.
Yeah,
It's
unsettling.
Yeah, it is an
Thank you.
unsettling ending. Yeah.
Thank you.
This
Now-
actually sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I gave you a rundown of it, but
Mhm.
it does not do it justice what is actually happening in the film. And
Okay.
if you want to watch it, anybody out there, if you haven't seen it, please do. It is such an
Okay.
odd film.
And I just remember, I think where I heard that line. I think it was from a South Park episode.
Yeah, I would imagine.
A South Park episode that had to do with I think George Lucas when they were doing the kids in the town when they go see
I've
Indiana
not watched
Jones?
a lot of.
the Indiana Jones movies.
No,
I
I've
think
not
it was
watched a lot of
one
South Park.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that one
No.
was hilarious.
I
Yeah,
know
you should watch
they make a reference in Robot Chicken. That's like the most recent one that I've seen of it, but I do believe there's been other references to it.
Okay.
But that's
It
the
makes
reference,
sense now. It makes sense now because there was some rape
yeah. That's which is where that line comes from.
in it.
Okay, so all right. This is the last one. Last one I'm gonna squeeze in.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
this is a
okay.
great one. This is a great comedy. I want to end on this one. It's Blazing Saddles.
Oh, everyone loves
Oh,
Blazing
I haven't
Saddles.
seen that.
You haven't seen
No, and
Blazing
it's funny
Saddles?
because my friend was gonna show it to me, and I don't think we had time to watch it. He kept telling me about how hilarious this movie
Yeah,
is.
it's the best.
It is.
Yeah.
it is
Really?
the-
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Such a
I
good-
actually
Mel
didn't get a
Brooks,
chance to
yeah.
see it.
Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder's in it.
Yeah, it's just it's hilarious.
It
That
is.
one's like
Oh, I can't
hilarious from
believe it.
beginning to end.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the music in it.
Gene Wilder's in it. He's the sheriff. He's like, oh, why don't you have a gun? He's like, because of this. And he's like, that looks fine. This is my shooting hand. And his
Yeah,
hand's
his
all
hand's
like, wow,
shaking.
shaking.
No
It's like, yeah. He holds his first hand out all stunned. He's like, I don't see a problem with that. He's like, yeah, because this is my shooting hand.
Yeah.
And it's all, yeah. It has so many good lines in it. And it's
mhm.
just a, and then they make, and that's why,
Oh,
yeah.
man, okay.
And at the time, it was different too, because I saw this very young. Also, this was one of those movies that was rented very young for me. So a lot of the jokes were probably over my head because
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
understand the significance in the '70s of the movie. Is a western. It's a western comedy,
Yep.
Okay.
and a new sheriff comes to town, and he's a black guy, and there's a huge problem with that. But as a kid, I didn't quite get that
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of it.
yeah,
But as an
uh-huh.
adult watching it, it's like, man, at the time, it was kind of edgy and pushing it because there was still a lot of, I mean, there's still really not that tension in this country. It'll always be there, but it was even at a heightened state there where it was like, oh, how dare they make someone of color an authority in this? And it was just it was a whole satire of that and a joke
Mhm,
at that,
mhm.
like, why are you being so silly? It shouldn't matter. But yeah, and it was really something else.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it has my favorite line when when they're trying to distract the guys so that Gene Wilder can get in, and all the bad guys are signing up,
Yeah.
and they need to steal their costumes, and the sheriff pops out. He's like, "Where are the white women at?" And
Oh.
they all come and and they beat him up, and then one's like KKK and one's like a Nazi. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. There is a scene where they do go to Grom's Chinese theater
Yes.
in there.
Yeah.
And they actually watch the movie
Yeah.
in the movie.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
yeah.
just so many
just-
silly things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It is hilarious. I'm gonna end the episode with that. Eddie,
Oh wow.
Eddie, that's one you got to catch.
Okay.
Anybody out there who haven't seen Blazing Saddles, please watch it. I think it's recommended by Nick and I.
Yes.
Great. A lot of stuff we did not touch, and we're
No.
still in the 70s.
I know.
So this is hopefully going to be a returning podcast topic as we work our way up these iconic movies.
Yeah.
So Nick, thank you very much. Eddie, thank you very much. Everybody out there that's listening to our podcast, thank you very much. And now I leave you with one of my favorite lines from Animaniacs, and I think it makes sense for the decade that we're talking about. Hello, nurse. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Retro lunch break.